Been granted to all three murder accused in the Mmakau murders. Onthatile Sebati allegedly hired two hitmen, Tunelo Mokone and Kagiso Mokone, to kill her parents, brother and pregnant sister in 2016. She was just 16 at the time. Sebati confessed to the murders, leading police to her alleged accomplices. The case was postponed to allow her to undergo a mental evaluation. They were arrested in December last year. eNCA's Heidi Giokos is following developments and joins us now for an update from the Brits Magistrates Court. So, Heidi, bail being granted signals that in the estimation of the court, this is in the interests of justice and the accused don't pose any threat to witnesses, will not interfere with the investigation. Am I correct in summing up what the magistrate must have said in granting bail?
Yes, certainly, Tunelo. I think that sums it up. We do understand that it's very clear, according to the magistrate, that there is no threat if the three accused are granted bail, and this is why she decided to do so. She says there's no threat of any kind of unrest. Should the three accused be released on bail, there's no threat of them leaving the country. But it's important to highlight to us that very strict bail conditions have been set for the three accused. They initially told the Magistrates Court here at Brits that they could only afford R1,000 bail each, but bail has been set to R10,000 each, so it's going to be a little difficult for the three accused, as they've indicated they are not in a position to afford such. But also applicant 2, which is Onthatile, who ordered the hits and confessed to the hits, is ordered to hand in her passport before she's granted bail. The three accused must report to police stations every Monday and Friday between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. And if they do decide to travel, they must inform the courts why they are traveling, the reason for traveling, and the time period. And the three accused are not allowed to communicate with each other directly or indirectly, because they seem to have some concern that because of the confession of accused number 2, accused number 1 and accused number 3 seem to have been very upset and angry about this, and there seemed to be some kind of threat to fighting or whatever it might have been between the three accused. So the clear instruction is no communication between the three. So bail, of course, has been set to R10,000 and they need to pay that bail.
And I suppose, Heidi, many people will be surprised that bail has been granted. Not that it doesn't happen, but given the nature of the crimes that are alleged to have been committed by these three individuals, many would still be left surprised by the fact that bail has been granted at all.
Yes, certainly, and the family of both the maternal and paternal of Onthatile, so from her mother's side and her father's side, were present in court today. They have actually been attending court proceedings, indicating that they are horrified that bail has been granted, saying that they have basically written off Onthatile, saying that they just cannot believe she could actually order this hit on her whole family. And just to take you back, the reasoning for this in her confession, she felt as though she did not have freedom and her parents were overbearing. So she ordered a hit on her father, her mother and her pregnant sister at the time, and she had actually asked the hitman to spare her baby brother, who was 6 years old at the time, but he was shot in the chest when the shooting took place. So both family members have told us a little earlier on that they don't understand how she's going to afford the R10,000 bail, because before her confession she was already saying that the money that was paid out from her father's estate had run out and she needed money for food and just basic living expenses. So it's going to be interesting to see how that bail is paid and where exactly she's going to go, because both family members have said they will not welcome her at home.
Yeah, and I suppose one other aspect, Heidi, that perhaps needs further clarity in the coming hours is the status of this accused number 1, I believe it is, the one who was 16 years old at the time. Having confessed, is that confession in the sense of a plea and sentencing agreement with the prosecution, or Is it a confession elsewhere that she intends to then challenge within the court proceedings during a trial? I don't know if you are any clearer at this point. You could let us know, but if not, we can always check on it a bit later on.
Yes, Tules, I think it's a confession to say I did it, I'm guilty of doing it, where you have accused number 1 and accused number 2. So Onthatile is accused number 2, and accused number 1 and accused number 3 of the hitmen that she basically hired are pleading not guilty for this particular murder. So Onthatile basically coming into the police station, saying she wants to speak to the station commander and confessing to this crime. So it could possibly lead to some kind of plea agreement with the state and accused number 2, which is Onthatile Sebati, who is accused of ordering this hit on her whole family. But she confessed, and this is also possibly why the state then decided, and the magistrate decided rather, to grant this bail, because she's given all the information, detail by detail, as to what truly transpired when her whole family was murdered.